Welcome to The Fight with Teddy Atlas, presented by Dynamic Striking. I'm Ken Rideout, joined as always by the voice of MMA, the great Teddy Atlas, and today's special guest, a man that can not only make a piñata, but he'll crack your head like a piñata too. He's the baby assassin, Brandon Moreno. Welcome to the show, champ.
Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, Brandon, have you ever broken any piñatas with instead of with the stick with your hands?
When I was a kid, of course. I mean, I'm Mexican, so I did it before, like long time ago. But yes.
Do your kids make piñatas? Are they learning the family business besides learning how to fight?
No, my kids, they are fancy. They are fancy now. They are living the life, but they are living different than me. Yeah.
You're spoiling them a little bit.
Not spoiled, but right now, for example, I born like in piñatas. Always, every single day was piñatas in my life. For them, it's like we are living in Vegas. We are like out of the piñata business of my parents. So yeah, it's a little bit different.
They've got all the different Lego collections, right?
That's right. They love to build the Lego and then destroy everything. And me, I don't like that. I feel very bad when they destroy the Legos.
I think during the summer you let them go. You let them go with their grandparents and make piñatas. I think that's a good thing.
That's a good idea.
Let them understand where their dad came, where the history of their family is, the hard work that they put in to get to give you the opportunity to do what you're doing.
That's true. Yeah, that sounds good. Actually, for example, when my oldest daughter was younger, she went with my parents to sell the piñatas, because my parents built the piñatas, made the piñatas in Tijuana, but they sell the piñatas in San Diego and in Los Angeles, in the Mexican areas. So when my daughter was younger, she went with my parents and sell the piñatas there. Right now it's different, but
now they need the Brandon Moreno limited edition piñata. It costs twice as much.
Licensed with the UFC company, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Brandon, thank you again. Thank you for being here with us, and you look great. You look terrific, and you got that great smile, that great genuine smile that good people usually have, genuine people usually have. I appreciate seeing that. I think that's what people, besides your great fighting, I think people just appreciate that you're a regular person. You're a common person. You can see it. You're just a regular guy that can fight like hell and fight better than most people will ever imagine, and can be a savage. But you're just a regular good person, and a person that you can connect with. A person that you can have something in common with, a person that you could feel comfortable rooting for. So keep being that person, because I think that's they call you the baby face assassin. We understand you got that baby face. You go after guys as you UFC MMA fighters do. You're tremendous. You have a code of honor. You're different, very special people. You're definitely warriors. But again, look at you. You got that. You do. You have that sincerity, that genuineness about you, and I think that's an important part of attracting people to you. I know that it attracts me in that way. So continue to have that, and let's get right to your last fight. Okay.
Let's go.
I saw a difference in that fight where tell me if I'm right. This is what I saw. I saw a difference. First of all, it was a very close fight. Very close. Very close. And I think it had a lot to do with the way judges favor looking at a fight. I really do. I think that it had a lot to do with, do the judges like a very aggressive, busy style, or do they like a guy who's being more patient, looking for spots, looking to score in spots and fight that kind of fight where it's more conservative, more tactical, And I really do think it was so close that it did come down to, you know, do you like chocolate ice cream or do you like vanilla ice cream with sprinkles? You know, what do the judges favor? What are they attracted to? What, you know, and that's tough because there should be a clear criterion in fighting of it's this or it's that. It should be a little clear. But there is a lot of room for judges to be subjective, to be, well, I like this style because, you know, the guy's moving and the guy's picking spot. No, I like an aggressive style. So I think a lot of it came down to that. I saw a difference in this fight where having won the title, you were even more confident and proud than ever and more aggressive in spots. I saw it. I saw it shining in that beautiful face of yours. I saw the pride of Mexico, the pride of the Moreno family. I just saw it, and you could feel it. And Figueiredo was the opposite this time. He was more cautious, more patient, tried to mix it up more, not just come at you straight ahead. He was not only looking for power this time. How did you see this fight? Am I right? Am I on track? And how did you see it different than the last two fights?
Oof, a lot of information, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what, Teddy? So the fight was 1 week ago. Right now, obviously, I'm like calm and I feel like more conscious about the fight and everything what happened in, you know, last January 22nd. And, you know, I have this conclusion. I mean, I really believe I was like the guy who was trying to win the fight, you know, like try to finish the fight, try always to do something there in the fight. But I mean, and I feel like I won that fight. I still believe that. But you know, Figueiredo this time had a better game plan, and I respect that. I respect that because at the end of the day, he won. I mean, I don't want to start to put a lot of excuses and this and that. I'm not that. I'm not that guy. I hate to be that guy. Obviously, I'm trying to see what happened in the fight. You know, he was a little bit more smart. He moved a little bit more around the octagon, just waiting for me, trying to go with the counter. And it's fine, you know. I've been talking with a lot of people, and we have the same conclusion. Like you was they told me to me like you was the better fighter, and he was the better like athlete, you know.
Different, maybe better tactically. Is that what they're trying to say? And more in a tactical way, more in a way where his plan was to take advantage of your aggression, and not just that. I think it was about him. I think it was about that he had to change. He had to be more to beat you, who he realized how complete a fighter you are after the last fight. I think that he realized he couldn't just bring his power game, that he had to be more than that. If he was just going to bring his power game, it was going to be another problem. I feel, and he's a tremendous puncher. We understand that. But I think it came down to him thinking he had to change something. He did. I mean, it was pretty obvious. He changed. He didn't fight the same way. And I don't know that a lot of people thought he could change. They thought he was this one-dimensional power puncher, you know, go seek and destroy missile. And that brings me to my next question. Did he surprise you?
I mean, yes, you know, in some point, like I was waiting with a little bit more aggression maybe from him, like, you know, trying to fight with me, like trying to finish the fight. But no, you know, again, he was just like trying to be smart and trying to use the angles, all the octagon, moving around, you know, just waiting for me. That was a little surprise for me. And at the same time, it's my fault because I feel like I just try to be the better boxing, the better boxer and the better guy with takedown defense. But I know, and yes, definitely. I know I'm a well-rounded fighter. Like I have a really good jiu-jitsu and I have a really good wrestling. So maybe try to mix a little bit more. Um, so that part is the only part where I feel like he surprised me. Like he's not more like this guy, like the aggressive guy. Like all his career in the UFC was about the Deiveson Figueiredo, the bully, the guy who was trying to put all the pressure in the fight, try to intimidate you, trying to knock you out in every single minute of the round. But I feel like that Deiveson Figueiredo is not more there, and that works for this fight, but I don't know. I was talking with somebody too, like, hey man, I mean, I really feel like you show to the world you evolve a little, talking about the technical part. Just he evolved just in the game plan, right? So I don't know.
Do you feel that it comes back to what I started this with, that some of it comes to what do the judges favor, what kind of style they're looking for, or that they might favor in their in their mind that obviously you were aggressive, obviously you were looking to be the boss, and obviously to his credit he made changes that he thought he had to make, to counterpunch, to set traps, to use the ring more, the octagon more, but at the end of the day it was a very close fight.
Yeah.
And do you think that it came down to just having judges that maybe if they had been judges that appreciated aggression more, you would have still had your title?
If you watch the official MMA rules, the damage is the most important thing.
I agree.
I understand that. My point is, like, I have this example very clear in my mind. The third round is very clear to me because everybody said I lost that round, but I saw that round, and all the round was like connecting with a lot of precision, with a lot of technique, like always connecting his face. But just at the end, like 6 seconds left of the round, he connected me with a nice and technical hard right hand to my shin, and I went to the ground a little bit, and then we started to grapple a little bit. But I mean, I don't know. I connected in that round like 15 punches with a lot of precision, and the guy stole me the round with just one punch. Like, I mean,
I
understand this. This sport is about what the judge appreciated a little bit more. But I don't know. I mean, I just feel I have my own point.
Before Ken goes in there, I don't mean to be rude here and not let my man Ken get in there. He'll be in there. Don't worry. He's a scrapper too. He'll get in there. But I want to ask you, will there be a fourth fight? And where do you think it'll be? Because obviously, I know the people and fans in Mexico would go absolutely crazy to see you there fighting with your style. And, of course, being the first Mexican-born champion in UFC. Are we going to have a fourth fight, and where will it be?
Guys, my manager is, like, pushing so hard for that fourth fight. We don't have nothing real right now, but, I mean, my manager and UFC are having like some conversation now about the fourth fight against Figueiredo. Last fight in Anaheim was crazy. All the Mexican people there. Wow, the energy that night was crazy. I mean, because when I won the title in Arizona, like all the vibe was amazing. But this time,
you're like champion, baby.
All the Mexican flags, all the arena was sold out. I'm waiting for the pay-per-views to see how many pay-per-views the event sell. I don't have nothing against Francis Ngannou because I love Francis, and I know Cyril Gane is a nice guy, but the main event was another one.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. It stole the show. The main event, the co-feature, your fight stole the show. As far as the energy, as far as the excitement, as far as the kind of fight it was. Yeah, I have to off of what you said, I got to keep my man in the bullpen another 2 minutes because I have to ask you. You made a point that I would be remiss as an interviewer and as a fight person if I didn't say something. You just said that the energy was incredible. It was more energy than you ever felt before. You felt it. It took you somewhere. Did it take you maybe too far? Really, think about it. Did it take you maybe? Go ahead, you talk.
Yeah, I mean, maybe yes. That you never know, because I remember all that moment. I was like very nervous as always. Like I'm always very nervous. The people can watch me like smiling and everything, but that moment when you are almost there in the octagon, I feel very, very nervous. So I was like walking to the octagon, watching all the Mexican flags, all the energy, and I felt like, oh my goodness, this is huge. But I remember too, when I made my first step to the octagon, like my mind come back to my body, and again I was in the correct spot. I mean, I feel like in the fight I was like completely in. Like I don't have excuses in that point. Like I don't have.
But
any
it speaks no excuse. You're a fighter. You would never. You're too genuine. You're too honest. You're too much of a champion to ever make excuses. You're too much of a good person, and you are, and that's one of your strengths is that character.
Thank you.
But it's the truth. But what I'm saying is that you might not even know it until we just talked about it now. That I think it did carry you. I'll make the excuse, and I'm not making an excuse. I don't need to make an excuse for Brandon Moreno, world champion. But I'll say it from my perspective, from my almost 50 years in the fight business, that sometimes that happens. That can get you a little out of your game plan. It can get you to be a little more aggressive than that mix, that nice mix of cerebral and aggression, where you're aggressive, but you're also feinting a little bit. You're moving to the side a little bit. You're mixing that part that, quite honestly, made you a champion. And maybe, just maybe, as you think about it now, and that feeling that you just brought up. That was a unique feeling, a different feeling, a feeling of, oh my goodness, look at this, wow. Maybe that did impact you.
Yes, I mean, maybe.
Something to think about, because what's this business all about? It's about control.
Exactly.
It's about control. And controlling yourself before you can control anybody else.
Exactly.
And if that took you 10% out of control, that's 10% that you can't allow to take you out of control.
Yeah, what? Obviously, I don't want to use that like an excuse or something, because it's something that can happen like from here to all my professional career until the end, right? Like all the people there in the arena putting all the energy, and I really appreciate it.
This was different because Brandon Moreno was the first Mexican-born world champion getting into the ring for the first time as the world champion. It's different. It's different. Yeah. Can you imagine what it would be like in Mexico?
Will be crazy. Like, so in this arena, all the people were in the arena was like almost 18,000, I think so. The arena in Mexico City is like 22,000, I think so. But I believe I can like sold out all the arena in Mexico. They are hungry to in a pay-per-view event there, because the first two events in Mexico was pay-per-views, and the next one was just fight nights. So they want to see like big stars there. They want to see like huge fights in Mexico. And in that point, I'm a little bit sad and a little bit disappointment, because maybe for this loss, UFC want to wait a little bit more for Mexico City, and they had some rumors about UFC going to Mexico in June. I don't know how everything changed with Brandon Moreno with no belt. So I don't know. I need to wait, but I'll be pushing to get my belt back and
of course you will. Listen, don't worry. Ken has a direct line to Dana White. Okay, they became really tight. We just had him on. He's got a direct line. It's called the red line. And Dana, when it lights up, kind of like the Batman phone. When it lights up, it's kind of like the police commissioner Gordon. He knows who it is. He knows it's Ken Rideout from our podcast. I'm included a little bit from Teddy Atlas. Oh, from who? Yeah, Teddy Atlas's podcast. Yeah, and he and he'll call him. Ken will call him, and he will tell him, make that fight in Mexico. All right, Brandon?
Yep.
Let's go.
I'm gonna get him on a 3-way call with the Mexican president and Dana White and see if we can't broker this for you.
Beautiful.
I got 2 questions for you. I want to talk to you about the whole Mexican thing and the pride the fans have in you, because it's incredible. I mean, you're the Canelo of UFC, and I'll come back to that. But the first thing I wanted to ask you about the Figueiredo fight is, you talked about him being a bully, and I think that's kind of how he was known. And it's not a knock against him per se, that's his style, right? But I noticed in the build-up to this fight, especially the weigh-ins and stuff, he was trying to get super aggressive with you. And I watch this with my children frequently. They're like 10, 11, 10, 8, and 6. And I said, look at how this guy is handling himself. This guy's pushing and shoving, and this kid Brandon is giving him like a heart sign. I said, you don't have to feed into this bully mentality. Were you surprised that he was trying to be so aggressive, knowing your personality wasn't going to engage in this silliness? Because it's like, I just feel like you rise above this stuff, and it's like they're pushing a rock up a hill trying to get you off your game, because it doesn't seem to faze you.
You know what was very weird that moment? Because, for example, I remember the press conference. The guy was like saying every single thing, like the cringe in the arena was very weird, because Figueiredo was saying a lot of different crazy things, and the French media was asking a lot of crazy things to Ngannou. So all the press conference was very awkward. But I don't know, like I don't understand why Figueiredo thinks he can go to my mind. I mean, he won and Congress, no, I mean, he won the decision. But I promise don't was because he was in my mind or something like that. Like I don't care. Obviously, it was weird because it was my first time fighting with a guy who was like saying a lot of trash talk and going with the finger and everything. Like, okay, that's weird. But he never was like in my mind because this Brandon Moreno is too aggressive because he want to knock this guy out because he was very, very vocal in the press conference and something like that. No, I promise no. I don't care. I understand it's the show, and I understand what's about show because, for example, I remember this, and it's very funny. After the official weigh-ins in the morning, Friday morning, I was the first one, and Figueiredo was the second one. So I finished my official weigh-in, 124. Congrats, and I went behind the scenes to start to drink something, and the guy came and I say to him like, hey man, congrats for the amazing weight cut, because it was amazing. I mean, the last one was horrible, and this one was like, the second one, 124 he made 124 too. Like, hey man, congrats. And the guy comes with me like very like a very professional games, and he gave me a hook, like oh, okay. I was just waiting like shaking hands and something like that, but no, the guy shake my hand and then he gave me a hook, like okay, and it's like, and that's it. That's why I understand it's just show, man. It's just show.
I almost feel like that's genuinely who he is, and the rest of it was an act that maybe managers or someone behind the scenes were telling him, like, no, you lost bad the last time. We got to try something different. Get aggressive with him. Throw him off his game. But that brings me to my next point, is that the way you handled yourself, I don't know how anyone in the that knows anything of UFC couldn't be a fan of Brandon Moreno. There isn't a single thing not to like. He's a gentleman, he's polite, and he gets in there and he'll rip your head right off your shoulders, but he'll apologize after if he hurt you. I just loved it. I think you're an excellent example for children. The Mexican people should be incredibly proud of you. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
I know Teddy feels the same way. The next thing I wanted to ask you is, are you aware of your status with the Mexican fans? Like, I would argue that after Canelo, you might be the biggest sports star in Mexico. Do you recognize that when you get to Tijuana? Do the people react to you? Like when they see Canelo, it's like, you know, a god, you know? Like, I feel like you're getting in that kind of stratosphere. Do you see it? Can you feel it in Mexico? Are you aware of the love that the Mexican fans have for you?
You know, actually, right now I'm in Tijuana, and I've been to I went to do some stuff out to the apartment, and I still feel a little love from the people.
Yeah,
it's very nice. You know, like they like support me, like, hey, don't worry, everything is perfect. In the next one, you will kill this guy, or like, oh, thank you so much. Obviously, I understand maybe one or two haters start to come in social media, and I understand because
welcome to the club.
So Teddy has one or two people that are always trying to hate us on the internet. There's a couple of them out there.
Guys, so imagine this: they don't have any material since 2018, so they was like just waiting, and they needed to wait like 2 or 3 years. So now they have something. I understand. But if you start to unfollow me in my career just for one loss, it's like,
that's for simpletons. Have you since you became the champion, even after the first fight with Figueiredo, how has your business outside of the ring, outside of the octagon gone? Have you received more inquiries from sponsors, especially Mexican brands? How is that going, and what are the big sponsors you're working with now?
Oh man, no, I mean, talking about my sponsors in general. So I have, I started to work with Nate Diaz with his brand, with Represent. I love those guys because they support me like every single time. They start to work with them, and I started to work with Monster Energy. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And I had another contracts. With other brands, with Manscaped, with local brands, amazing. So yes, definitely my sponsor starts to grow up a lot. Talking about the Mexican brands, I don't know, man. It's still very hard to get a sponsor from there because mixed martial arts is not the sport that they want to put attention yet. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
Right now, I have a few ones. You know, I'm starting to work with a Mexican supplements company. Pure Life is a really nice and really good brand. They're amazing with me too. But I don't know. For example, my manager started to talk with other Mexican companies or Mexican brands. And they're like, I don't know, maybe in the future we can start talking about him and see what happened. Like, I don't know, man. It's, you know, when I say this before, and I want to say this right now, like, mixed martial arts started to grow very fast in Mexico, but I understand we need to work a little bit more because the support is not enough yet.
The two companies I want to see you work with, either Modelo or Corona, just because I associate them with big Mexican brands, and Lego. How does Lego not have a Brandon Moreno deal? Like, no one promotes Lego more than Brandon Moreno. You got to be the most famous person talking about Legos all the time. If they're listening to this, Legos, get with it. We need a Brandon Moreno Lego collection.
You know what? Actually, my manager talked with Lego. He sent an email to them, but they say all my fans in social media, for example, they are very old. So that is not my...
Old people can't do Legos? I know a lot of adults that do Legos.
Like all people build Legos like me.
Of course they do. I want to have like a section on Legos where you go there and it's like Brandon Moreno's favorite Lego collections, like whatever it is. What are your favorite top 3 Lego collections? Like the models that you've built?
I built the Daily Bugle from Spider-Man.
Yep.
It's a huge set. It's amazing. I finished before to come to Tijuana for my training camp for the last fight. It's amazing. It's huge with a lot of minifigures. I already finished the Batmobile, the Tumbler from Dark Knight, from Batman. Yep. It's awesome. And also, I finished another Batmobile like the last year, from the movies in 1989. Yeah. That Batmobile is really awesome too.
They're going to be calling you after this interview, I think. When they realize that Teddy Atlas interviewed Brandon Moreno and he talked about Legos, I can feel it all. I can feel the momentum building.
Yeah, so, I mean, maybe in the future. You never know. And I'm just waiting for next opportunities, right?
It's going to come, Brandon, and it is coming. Because you have to realize, and I know you do, you live in a country that is very, very rich in a great, great tradition of boxing champions. And UFC has just come around. I mean, not just, but relatively, UFC is new.
Yeah.
But the Mexican people love warriors, and they will take to UFC. They will take, especially to their son, who's a champion, Brandon Moreno. They will, and they are. And I think if you put a fight in Mexico, you're going to see that. But again, the history is so steep in boxing there that it's going to take a minute for them to move over. But I see them moving over because they appreciate something that's common with their boxing champion, and that's the mentality of a warrior. That's the character of a warrior and the code of a warrior, the conduct of a warrior, the behavior of a warrior. That's Brandon Moreno. Whether it's boxing or UFC, it's fighting, and it's fighting at an elite level. They recognize that. It's just going to be. They need an opportunity to have you near them more. They need that opportunity to see you more, to be able to show you their love. And I think that if this next fight, if the 4th fight happens, and it can happen in Mexico, I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Listen, since you won the title, you had to have seen a difference in your life. I mean, your life. Talk about that. Don't forget that. Your life changed. I mean, there must have been an explosion of a difference of how people, hey champ, that I mean, talk about how your life changed. And with that question, how was your last training camp? Did that change? Was there distractions maybe? And again, I'm not going down any excuse road. I just know in my business, when somebody trains near their home and they became a champion, you trained, I think, in Tijuana, right?
Yes.
And you become a world champion. I know things come with that. Distractions, requests for tickets. All of a sudden, instead of 2 people asking for tickets, you got 102 people asking for tickets. But they mean well because they love you. But sometimes that can be a change, a distraction that you never had before. How was your training camp? Was it good? Was it different? Were there distractions? Were there problems? Go ahead, talk about it, please.
So I need to be very honest with you guys. So, for example, I remember immediately after the fight, my manager told me like, "Hey man, so go to your home and enjoy a little bit your family because you will be busy for a few weeks." Because I did a media tour in Mexico City. I had a media tour in Los Angeles. and a little one in San Diego, I think so. I don't remember, but yeah, I did a lot of things, and a lot of interviews. I meet a lot of people, a lot of famous people in Mexico. I meet the president of my country. That's crazy, and that was like 3 weeks or no, like 1 month. In all that 1 month, I was a little bit concerned and a little bit afraid because my rhythm of training is high, very, very high. I have the habit to train like 2 or 3 times per day, every single day, every day. And in that moment, I was doing like a lot of media and a lot of videos with meetings with a lot of different people. And in my mind I was a little bit frustrated because, I mean, for example, all the other contenders in my division, they are like training so hard and like just trying to get a title. And now I have like a little target in my back.
Of course.
With all these guys. And I was like putting my pretty face in the cameras and everything. I was a little bit concerned and a little bit frustrated. But that was my mind because it was just 1 month after the fight. After that, I'm start again with my rhythm or my regular rhythm training. And when I'm start to do my official training camp for my next fight, I told to me like, hey Brandon, so this training camp need to be like hard. Maybe need to be like harder than the last one. And I really believe I did it, and it's sad at some point. And this when you can see how is life going, because I feel like I paid the price again to win this fight, and I lost. I put this in my social media after the fight, like, man, I mean, paying the price is not a guarantee to win the fight, but that just gives me an opportunity. And it is what it is. I lost, but I promise I put all my heart in that training camp. Maybe the people can think like, oh, the guy won the title and he was like distracted. He lost the hunger of competition. He lost fire. But man, right now my fire is like, wow. I mean, I feel like I'm born right now by myself inside. And more right now because I lost the title. So I need to do something in my life. I want that title back. I'm hungry because I want to do a lot of huge things in my life for my family, for my country. I mean, last fight with the title, the mixed martial arts in Mexico grow like a lot, and I need to keep working on that. Like obviously, in some point I'm very selfish. I want to keep doing everything for myself and my family, but if I can help all my country to do something and help other kids to accomplish their dreams, I will.
That's not selfish. That's different. That's knowing that you can't help others if you don't help yourself first.
That's right.
That's what that is. That's being real. That's being connected to real life, to real results. What gets real results, and you have to have that attitude that you have to take care of yourself. You have to go out there and do the things that are best for yourself so you can be the best you can be. So then you can, in turn, take care of your family and others. And you're right on the right track. And I think that what we've talked about here was important to talk about, to be honest, for yourself, to bring these things out to the surface, that you're human. People do get impacted. Things do change when they become champion. That don't mean they don't want it as much. That don't mean that their furnace isn't burning with the fire inside them the way that it used to burn. It just means that you're more known, that more people want a part of you, that more people are proud of you, more people want to meet you. More people want to talk about you, and that does change things. And you have to just handle that. You have to be cognizant of that, and you just have to take that into account of how that can impact you, not physically only, but even mentally, because you can tell the sincerity in which you just spoke to everybody, that it was on your mind, that it was making you think, wait a minute, did I do it? And then you might go and do too much to make up for that. It's a fine delicate balance. And the mental side can definitely impact that balance. And you will never cheat anybody. You're Brandon Moreno. You're honest. You're the real deal. You have all the qualities a champion need. I would just say to you that if you do get this fight in Mexico, and I believe 100% what I said and 100% what you said, that the people are going to come out. The people are going to come out. They're going to come over the mountaintops. I mean, they're going to come. And then you just might want to do your training somewhere else, to be what you need to be. That's all.
Of course.
Hey, Brandon, when you met the Mexican president, did you have at any time like a moment like, oh my God, I was, and for your family, like we were just a hardworking family making piñatas. Now our son is with the Mexican president. Did you have a moment, and did your parents have a moment where you were like, oh my God, this is like really happening. We did it. We're here.
Of course. And I was a little bit, I don't know, because everything, when you go and meet the president, everything is so weird, like a lot of security, a lot of police officers around.
Very official, right?
Yeah, very official. A lot of guys with nice suits, and you are like, oh my goodness, like yes, maybe at some point you start to think like, I born in a hood in Tijuana, building piñatas with my parents, and now I'm almost I'm going to meet the president. I don't know. That moment was nice. Oh, and the moment when you start to talk with the people, it's like, oh, everything is fine. But when we arrived to the official house in Mexico, you start to watch all the officers, all the official things, and it's a little bit weird, but was nice the experience.
There's always a moment when you're alone with something like that, just a moment where it's human, not just in front of the cameras. What did the president say to you?
No, everything was like, because they filmed a little like 15 minutes video talking about the bail and everything, and the official account of the president put the video in his social media, and everything was like, oh, congrats, but everything was like very like.
Was
official.
there ever a moment that you got to talk to him alone, off camera, where he put his arm around you and said, hey, Brandon, we're really proud of you,
Yeah, at the end, he said, like, because other people start to say, like, hey, this guy is trying to do something in the sport in Mexico for the mixed martial arts. We feel like he's a really good ambassador of the sport in Mexico and everything. And the president said, like, man, I can hear how he speaks and everything. And I really believe he can do it. Like, so do it, kid. You can do it.
When you would, for the Figueiredo fight, fighters, I think sometimes fighters are very open, and you're a very honest person, and they talk about the fear in the locker room before the fight, and it's something that Teddy speaks of frequently. It's like 2 fights. First fight is like with those emotional ninjas in the locker room before the fight. But when I watch you, I almost wonder, like, does this guy even have fear? He seems so happy all the time. Did you ever have a moment where you're like, or do you ever have moments where you're like, man, I'm so nervous?
He needs to go to a doctor. I can answer that for him. He needs to go to a doctor if he doesn't have fear. He wouldn't be normal, he wouldn't be human, and he wouldn't be champion if he didn't have it.
I want to hear Brandon's interpretation of like how he copes with that and what the emotions are.
You know what? So yes, I mean, 100%. I'm very nervous, and even in some point, I'm a little bit scared or everything, because at the end of the day, you are going to an octagon with 1,000 people, and you are going there to fight with another guy who's trying to cut your head. Like,
yep.
Obviously, the people can't even imagine that feeling.
Never. Brandon, if you're worried, nervous, if you didn't feel those feelings, you better go to a doctor and find out what the hell's wrong with you. But it gets you ready. It gets you ready for what you have to face. It gives you everything you need. And then it's your job to control it and use it and make it your friend.
Man, it's the most excited moments because you have a mental battle in that moment, like fighting with all those voices who told you like you can't, but at the same time you came with other warriors in your mind like fuck, I can, I definitely can. Why not? And then I'm start to get excited, more excited, and then I'm trying to put all my emotions in control to go to the octagon. So I don't know. I build a little alter ego to me, like El Bebé Asesino. So he's the manager of those emotions.
Yes,
In the
sir.
moment when I'm there in the locker room, trying to warm up and and start to do my mental work, is when the El Bebé Asesino is coming and he start to manage all those emotions. And I'm always say the same, like Brandon Moreno is not going to the fight anymore because Brandon Moreno is very humble. Brandon Moreno is very like, he's not ready for a fight. But El Bebé Asesino, that guy is an asshole, and that guy is who's going to the fight.
Exactly, 100%.
That's what I was looking for. I figured there had to be some exercise that you went through because it's such a dichotomy of these two different people, of like the one guy we're talking to right now and then the guy in the ring who's just like, trying to tear someone's head off. And man, you're doing such a great job of representing yourself and the Mexican people. I just want to emphasize again, like, I love when you fight because it's such an opportunity to tell my children, like, here's what a fighter is all about. You could be a nice guy and a gentleman, and when it's time to handle business, it's nothing personal. It's just business.
Yeah.
Brandon, what we just talked about just then, I talk about all the time. And, I talk about it, quite extensively with different fighters. And people will call me and ask me to talk to them about that dimension of it. It's the hardest dimension of fighting, the mental part. It's 75% of your business, my business. 75%. I don't care how talented you are. I do care. But if you're not right mentally, you're nothing. You can't use your talent appropriately. And I want to just ask you a question. If you're on board with what I'm going to say, and I know you are, but I just want to bring it out to help other fighters out there since we got on the subject. Young fighters that are struggling with this, that are trying to become Brandon Moreno, and they don't know quite yet. They don't quite know what's in front of them, what faces them. What is really the hardest thing. It's not just the hard work. It's a lot of hard work, cardio and physical and all that stuff, and learning and technique and commitment and all of that. Yes. But it's the mental part. It's the mental part that has to be conquered, that has to be developed. And I remember Customato, my mentor, Brandon, he used to always say, Teddy, if it wasn't for the waiting part in the locker room, there'd be a lot more fighters. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, and of course, Teddy, and and adding a little bit like you say first, we have these conversations sometimes in the gym. Like I know a lot of fighters who are monsters in the gym.
Yeah,
monsters. They have an amazing technique. They have cardio. They have everything. But in the moment when they arrive to the octagon, something happened in his mind.
Yeah.
And the other way, I know guys
100%.
with horrible technique. Like, oh my goodness, what a horrible technique. I don't know. But in the moment when they are like, they are in the octagon, they are dogs, man. They are
when they have to be what they have to be. They are.
Yes.
And you're right, 100%. I just thought that this conversation would be helpful to those young fighters that don't quite understand that part yet, and they're having trouble with that part. And I'll tell you another thing. The ones that might think they're the only ones who feel this way, Brandon Moreno, tell them, you're not alone. You're not alone. It's not a solo universe. We all feel this way. It's a matter of how we control it, what we do when the moment comes, not how we feel, because everyone feels it. Everybody feels this, the nervousness, the fear, the doubt, all of that stuff. But when the moment comes, it's all up to controlling it and doing what you have to do. And again, is it the same for you that, like Cuz said, the waiting in the locker room, if it wasn't for that part, it would be a lot more crowded. There'd be a lot more fighters because they love the other part. They love the adulation. They love being a hero. They love being a champion. They love the things that brings them. It's great. It's the greatest feeling in the world. But you have to go through that to get it.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel and I believe in this, like at the end of the day, every single fighter, every single person managed that moment different, you know. To me, you know, I remember before my alter ego comes to my life, you know, I was going to the fight like trying to be the same guy, like trying to smile to the people, trying to enjoy the moment. But I feel that a great aggression inside of me wasn't there. Like, you know, I was like just trying to win in the first round by submission, don't throw punches, and just be safe and just be out of the octagon, and that's it. You know, a lot of people know my history. You know, my 2018 was horrible, and I had a lot of bad moments. So just I made this alter ego to me like, man, I mean, I can't be the nice guy anymore inside of the octagon. I need to be like an asshole. I need to be like aggressive. I need to be. That's why Del Bebé Asesino is come to my life, and I love that. I love that character because he is the guy who is not right now, outside of the octagon. So yeah, maybe other guys manage that moment different. To me, I like, talking about Brandon Moreno. He do that, and that works for him. But maybe for other guys, it works different, and it's fine. It's perfect.
Of course. As long as you get there and you get control of yourself. The way I say it to fighters, and I think it's identical to what you just described, is that, okay, I'm taking this guy and I'm putting him over here. You watch this guy perform. I'm taking you now. You're going to sit in this room, just like you take your kids to a daycare center. Here, you stay here and I'm going to go work out. Okay, I'm going to go into, Daddy's going to get ready to make money to buy you more things, to buy you a bigger house, to do what I have to do. You stay here. You take that part of you and you say, here, you're locked in this room for the next hour. And here, you watch this guy perform. Watch this guy go out there and be in control and be the champion of the world and everything that he has to be. And I believe that's what I talk about. And I believe that's what you described. The last thing on this that I want to say is we always talked, and Cuz would try to articulate so you could explain it to somebody what it was that they were battling. And at the end of the day, tell me if you agree. What you're battling is your imagination.
Yeah, of course.
That's what you're battling.
I don't have any other explanation to that. Everything is an imagination. You are, the mental feel, my goodness, you are starting to imagine a lot of crazy things, like what happened if in this minute this happens and the guy knocked me out, or what happened if I do. But everything is your imagination, literal, and it's crazy how your mind can like travel for a lot of different ways. It's crazy, but yeah, right now, like, I'm very young, like I have 28 years old, but I'm starting this sport very young too. I have a lot of experience, and thanks God I can manage all this situation, because I remember like my first fight was like scared, like very, very afraid to go to the octagon. Like I was very, very nervous. But right now it's like, obviously, of course, I'm still very nervous, but I feel like I can go there and do my job.
Of course. And that's what happens with time, with experience, maturity, with learning and going through these things and knowing, the truth about what it is, that it's normal, and it's something that you have to learn to be able to control. You have to learn to be comfortable in an uncomfortable environment. And that's the most important thing. And I just wanted to touch that because for the young fighters out there that are aspiring to, again, to be the next champion in their own right, and they're at an early stage, that it is about controlling your imagination. That's the biggest fight. That's the battle in the locker room. That's the battle the night before. That's the battle the days before. To control your imagination. Because your imagination could go anywhere. Anywhere. And it goes to crazy places, as you just said, if you let it. But the reality is there's only certain things that can happen. That's the reality. But the imagination is so dangerous because there is no ceiling. There is no roof on where it could go. It could go anywhere. And it could be damaging if you let it go anywhere.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
now
the battlefield in your mind. Wow.
Brandon, I think was it the last, I don't know if it was her training camp or yours, but I think you did some training with Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah, actually.
Can you talk about that? How was that?
I mean, first of all, she's amazing. She's a really nice athlete, and that's why she's the champion right now, because she's very perfectionist in every single moment in the fight, with her jiu-jitsu, with her wrestling, the striking, obviously. And I was just trying to get new knowledge.
And what kind of training were you doing? Were you doing like MMA, or was it jiu-jitsu, just boxing? What everything?
No, so the way she trains, she do everything in one practice. Like she do like ground. She do we wrestle in the ground, in the middle. We do a lot of striking too. So yeah, so that's like always the same practice with her, like doing everything.
Yeah, and how was she, like, relative to what you expected? Was she stronger at some things than expected, or what was the training like physically?
I mean, talking about physically, the people need to understand, the power is different. But talking about the technical part, she's amazing, and she's very fast. She's very technical. Her kicks are very very good too. So she's a very complete fighter. I mean, I can sit here, talk with you, and talk about all the other skills she has. But to share the mat with her and get new knowledge is amazing. And hopefully, I put a new knowledge to her too.
Her management team has done a great job with her. She's in movies. She's like really becoming a mainstream star. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of hers as well. And I just thought it was interesting that you guys had shared some time on the mat.
Yeah, of course. I mean, right now she's like the baddest female athlete, I think so, in the planet. So, yeah, she filmed a movie before and everything. So, yeah, that's awesome. And yes, just share the mat and get new knowledge, talk a little bit about all of those moments in the octagon. It was a really nice experience.
Good for you. No, seriously. No. In a way that it shows you to be a champion, you have to be like a sponge, looking to grab any knowledge you can. And when you have to put your ego aside, because a lot of people might say, "Oh, what could I learn from a woman?" Really, and you, to your credit, of course you can learn. You can learn from anybody who's a top at whatever they do, whether it's mathematics, whether it's bobsledding, whether it's basketball, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's grappling, whether it's whatever. And you, to your credit, you understood that, and you went and allowed yourself to grasp some of that, as you just put it, some of that knowledge. And of course, she will grasp some of the knowledge that she learned from you, as you just said. But that is part of what allows you not only to be a champion, I believe, but to continue to progress, to continue to get better, to continue to grow. Because that's an important lesson for our young fighters, aspiring fighters out there, or aspiring in anything, is that it doesn't end when you become champion. It begins. Because now you got to work even, because you said it beautifully earlier, you have a target on your back. Now you got what everybody wants. So so if you slow down now, you got a lot of problems in front of you. You got to work even harder to keep the title.
Yeah, because maybe a lot of people can thought like, oh, the guy's the champion and that's it. Like he don't need to learn nothing more. He don't need to do nothing more. He don't need to be out of the comfort zone anymore, and that's a huge mistake. I mean, because I understand in the place I'm right now, like it's harder to get new knowledge, and it's harder to get a new places when you feel out of your comfort zone. But I feel like I can still do my job. Like for example, like this very clear example with Valentina, this new knowledge. I mean, the people what they think. Oh, she's a woman. That's a very old mentalities,
100%.
That's a very, very old mentality because Valentina is amazing and has an amazing technique. Or do another stuff like you can do it. Always you can do it. You need to find how, but the knowledge is huge. You can keep get more knowledge in your life.
Name one thing that you took away from that, from that practice, that experience, that you took away from practicing with her and training with her. Well, name something that you took away, that you learned, or that you felt that you could implement into your training.
So, I mean, I don't want to say nothing because she's very private with that. She's like, oh, I don't like to talk about this or that, So okay. I don't like to talk about nothing specific. But again, like I get knowledge from her definitely.
She don't want you to give away any of her secrets. Okay. Okay.
I got you. I respect that.
I respect it too. I understand. You've been very. Listen, you're a gentleman. You're a champion. You're a father. You're a husband. You're a role model. You're gonna get more and more people are gonna come and embrace your sport and embrace you because of who you are and how you live your life. I'm going to finish. Thank you for the time you've given us. Ken might have another question. I want to just finish with this. Do you watch American football?
Not really. No, not really. It's
I
nice
mean, soccer. Do you follow soccer? Obviously, you probably do.
Yeah, so soccer, I was a huge fan of soccer before. And right now I'm starting to get, again, the love for the sport now. But nothing like very serious. I'm starting to watch basketball a little bit, but I'm not a huge fan too. Right now, my mind is completely in mixed martial arts.
Do you know what the Super Bowl is?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, it's coming up.
It's the good one.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. It's like what it's going to be when you defend your title in Mexico. It's
crazy,
like
right?
It's big. Yeah, it's big. And everyone comes out. Do you know who's playing in it? It's in 2 weeks. The two teams that are in it, they played yesterday to get the right to go to the Super Bowl. It's the Cincinnati Bengals against the Los Angeles Rams.
Wow.
Who's going to win the game?
I don't know. I don't know.
I gotta believe that
Los
being
Angeles.
from Mexico that you're pulling for Los Angeles since they have such a Mexican fan base.
Huh?
I don't want to be a liar with you guys, but yeah, maybe for the area, Rams. Let's go.
You're beautiful. Thank you, Brandon, for being, as I said before, for being a champion in every way that you could be a champion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teddy, for the time too, for the space.
Thank you, Brandon. We appreciate your time as always, and we look forward to having you back on when you get the belt again. Regardless of the belt, though, you have an open invitation to join us anytime. It's a pleasure speaking with you, honestly. Congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, guys, again for the space. And yes, definitely, I need to work again and get that belt back, and we can talk later.
My money's on you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandon.
See you guys. Have a nice day, all right?
You too, Brandon.
All right.